Thank you, AJ and the desk. They're not wrong. It's me, Jaws, and I'm joined by the lovely Scoundrel. We're into the first best of 3 of this evening from NA, TSM and Cloud9, two Titans on the fold now. Boy, I can't wait for this game to be underway. Look at those comps.
I am so privileged to be casting this, I think this is one of the matchups that we expect to be a huge rivalry this year in North American Vainglory. And I'm on board with the analysts. This is such a hard series to call. I'd actually potentially go the other way and say that C9 maybe has more of an advantage. The way that C9 plays, Jaws, is almost like we saw the Korean teams at Worlds play. Very objective focused, less about brawling, playing away from the aggression, more like global objectives win us games, we focus global objectives.
Yeah, well, the Fake Crystal is a global objective, so I guess you take that, you win the game. And we'll see if they do want to play that way.
Thank you for informing me that taking the Vain Crystal wins you a game.
I mean, you do videos on this kind of stuff, so I thought I'd give you a hand. Elder Trian is going to get started up by Cloud9, it seems, but they're going straight on to Gabe Vizzle here. Vonic's actually going really hard, and Joseph, I don't think he can actually follow up the damage. Gabe Vizzle going really low. This could be first blood. In fact, it is, and Joseph is going to have to back off here. Flash X on the Lance is going to provide a lot of that support.
Well, Von C, potentially one of the most aggressive players in the world, let alone in North America. And he's on a hero that is incredibly aggressive, very popular right now coming from the jungle. We've actually seen more sort of Crystal Power Stormcrown glaives because of the utility coming through. But wait a second, Joseph's going in.
There is more action. Von C is going to dash away. Joseph did find the Trian. I believe he secured it as well. Flash X is going to be chased away. Old school, piling up with a bit of aggression, but it's not going to be anything too exciting just yet. Carry on with your story.
I actually forgot where I got with the story.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to be honest.
Oh,
I was going to remind you.
I remember now. Yeah, so we're mainly seeing sort of these CP Stormcrown utility-based glaives where they go in more of a cooldown route to get those afterburns to reposition other heroes, reposition key targets, and then the damage comes in a little later on when they've stacked up with the aftershocks. Sometimes you see them go alternating current. But this time we're actually going to see Von C going down what potentially looks like it is going to be a weapon power glaive here, mainly because we've got this very interesting lane Lyra, so carry Lyra coming out, which is not something that you see huge amounts of, but Best Chuck NA, definitely one of the best laners in North America, can make it work.
Oh, yeah. If he's the best, I'm sure he can. Lyra, man, I'm surprised to see it actually let through. In all honesty, we've been saying that obviously yesterday as well, but Lyra in the lane, interesting play. I think it's going to spark a little bit of faith in my lane. Lyra isn't that great. I'm sure it isn't as great as Best Chuck NA's, but I think he'll teach me a thing or two. Now, speak to me about the build he'd kind of go here.
So you got alternating current because it just, it functions so well with the fact that you are a basic attack dependent CP carry anyway. Principle of Arcanum, that works with your base attacks regardless, and then the alternating current kind of synergizes that as well. But the one issue that CP Lyra will have is the fact that Principle of Arcanum does use energy, so you do sometimes end up getting a real drain on your energy source if you're consistently using those basic attacks to focus that heroic perk. So that you might see Best Chuck NA probably slot in some energy regeneration in there early, but the alternating current kind of makes up for the fact that if you don't have energy, you're still outputting a decent amount of CP damage on those basic attacks.
Yeah, it's a tower-taking machine as well, or turret-taking machine, I should say. Von C is going to wander up towards the lane.
That's one. Strike one, Jaws. Every time you say tower instead of turret, I'm going to remind you.
Strike one. 3 times you leave the cast. It doesn't like old school. He's going to get hit up here. Nice doubt roll in from Flash X. Not rolling in just yet. It just kind of walks into the lane, but he's going to back off. Now, obviously, we did see a little bit of the jungle lance. It's not going to be so prevalent in this game. Wow, Joseph's going really hard in. Does get knocked into the tower. Nice Scythian wall there by Flash X. No glaive to be seen. Does it like Joseph? I really like the kind of aggression he did there, because obviously noticing Votnik just completely farming his backs, decided to go in.
I'm laughing because you're fairly new to Vainglory, Jaws, and
yeah.
I can tell you one thing. If there is a player who is known for aggressive plays, tower dives, potentially pushing things to the absolute limit, I Love Joseph is the kind of player that does that. I mean, if you had to find aggression in the dictionary, there would be a picture of I Love Joseph, probably sat there with his Taka because he is one of the most aggressive junglers that North America and the world have to offer. So that's why I was chuckling when you were saying, "Oh, I love Joseph being so aggressive," because that's just what I know I love Joseph for.
Well, exactly. Well, I think Alpha's kind of the perfect hero for him then, right? Just jumping in on the back line, just trying to explode somebody and then just trying to run away after that one. And he seems to be going for a fairly aggressive build as well. Now, with Alpha, I mean, and this kind of thin combination, that is just such a force to not escape from. And speaking of not escaping, Vonsi is going to go in. Gavis are going really low here. Veshchukane just dishing out the damage. I love Joseph here. He's going to pop the ultimate. Will he be able to jump in? He will not. Goes into his passive. Now's the time to strike. Joseph is vulnerable. He gets Githian walled into the wall, funnily enough. Old School is going to have to back away there. Gabe Vizzle as well. And that'll be the second kill going over to TSM.
So I love Joseph made a slight mistake there when he channeled that ultimate. I think he was potentially looking for a prime directive, maybe to look for an executing blow onto Von C. One tiny trick that you want to do with an alpha, if you manage to, mess up your ultimate, essentially, the main thing that you want to achieve is getting into a brush to deny vision from the enemy team. Unfortunately, I love Joseph died in between brushes, in between both mustache brushes, making him a super easy target to burst down. Had he got into his brush, he might have actually managed to find that infinite reboot, off the back of his heroic perk, but unfortunately wasn't able to.
Yeah, it was not able. Did not manage to terminate anybody with a termination protocol either. And that will be down only for the next 10 seconds or so he can happily use that soon.
Actually, the funny thing about termination protocol is 20 to 40% of the time you're looking for it to actually land. I'll talk about it after.
Yeah, that landed. Auto just gets flung into the team and exploded. Veshchukane is going to pick up that kill. Gabe Vizzle, you're going to have to be careful, buddy. One more auto from a Lyra, I think would have done it there. But he does manage to escape with an inch of his life. Joseph is going to come forward as well. TSM just hard on the aggression so far.
Yeah, but Von C facilitated Flash X and one of his best heroes as well in the form of the Lance. I love Joseph here. I think just trying to clear waves more than anything, but could get punished.
Oh, he's going to get really punished. Does pop the termination protocol and just dips behind his own turret. And he is just going to pop back up as well with a passive. See, got it right that time. I said turret, not tower. It's all good. I'm getting there.
Actually, I love Joseph just highlighted the point that I was trying to talk about just before that fight broke out. That 60% of the times as sort of an alpha, you might actually end up using your. There might be another fight going on here. I think they might just back off those C9.
Yeah, they should be all right. Joseph does get rooted up. However, there's a lot of damage coming out from Von C right now. Just as afterburn's under tower. Old School didn't even see that coming, but Von C is taking a lot of damage from the tower. That's a massive force to call by Gabe Vizzle. He does pick up Lyra in the end. He definitely deserved that kill. Give him the second one. Go for it. No, Old School's going to take it. That was a beautiful ultimate coming through from Gabe Vizzle. Just resulting in 2 kills.
And the Crucible, I think, has just been picked up by Flash. I didn't actually check whether he had that previously, but if he did, he definitely should have been able to land it. So I think he's only just picked it up, but it's a good one now. That shouldn't happen as much anymore. Flash X doing his best to just Githian wall those minions away here, stopping with all of his might. This turret going down. Has he bitten off more than he can chew, Jaws?
Oh, I hope not. I thought he was going to actually kill Old School then. Does end up almost getting himself killed, however. Joseph's going to back off as well. But again, nice counter-aggression from Flash X, just dissuading them from the tower.
Yeah, what you do as a Lance is you actually Githian wall the minion wave away from the tower because it knocks them back, and then you just essentially make the enemy team choose between tanking tower shots or trying to take that turret. That turret was nowhere near a sort of a level of health where it was going to be going down easily for C9, so basically Flash X saves a lot of damage on that turret, which could come in fairly useful later down the line. Just want to wind back slowly to that tower dive, and it's something that I think C9 finally managed to capitalize on because TSM had a lot of unchecked aggression this game, and C9 didn't really have a good way to respond. TSM's aggression went a little bit too far, and actually I think a really good job by C9 and especially Gabe Vizzle to execute on that and actually find their way back in here because he felt like in these first sort of 7 minutes it was slipping away from C9, but it's leveled out now.
Yeah, with the brilliant force call from Gabe Vizzle, you aren't wrong. We'll see if he can try something again. Fairly good at landing those. Early infusion as well from Joseph, and I did see a little bit of a discussion on Twitter earlier. I believe it was one of Rogue's members about the early infusions.
Yeah, he's picked it up here. I don't know whether he's going to activate it just now, but this is something that North America has done quite a lot. Sometimes we'd actually see them pick infusions between 8 and 10 minutes, and then get a big fight and go for something like the first turret or something like a gold mine. Well, gold mine's down right now. I think it was TSM that collected that. But C9 could then now go and try and take down the first turret of the game off the back of these infusions, but you've got to find the right fight for it. And it's also about playing around your power spikes, Jaws. I Love Joseph has just hit his Aftershock power spike, so this is a good part of the game where Alpha becomes really powerful. Do you know what makes Alpha even more powerful? Adding an infusion to the mix. Now, obviously infusions aren't as good at the very low levels, but he is level 9, so he's going to have a decent output with that infusion. And if he procs it, he's got that, you know, the big power spike of the Aftershock. This could be a fight that C9 run away with.
Yeah, we'll see if they want to like pull the trigger. Flash X just gets a chop with the massive scissors to the face. It's always kind of funny, that skin as well. Is that like one half of a pair of scissors, or is it like...
Yeah, it's just one half of a pair of scissors.
Yeah, where's the other half?
I don't know, maybe she didn't need them.
Yeah, clearly not. She does a lot of damage anyway, so we'll just let off Joseph for that one. But Flash X now obviously just driving Cloud9 back. And you mentioned earlier Cloud9 a bit of more of a methodical team, and just really just kind of waiting for TSM to come to them, and it's worked out so far, and that's why I really want to see I Love Joseph just kind of go in with the termination protocol and see what he can get done, because that infusion damage is just going to be insane.
It's interesting because Alpha does exactly the opposite of what I think C9 want to achieve. They are going to want to be kiting for old school, or trying to peel for him rather. Whereas I Love Joseph, you don't really have that option as an Alpha. The only option that Alpha has is I'm going to go ham, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to try and kill some people. And therefore you kind of, I think, have a mismatch of what you actually want to achieve here for C9, although, whoa, we've got a tower dive.
Hang on a minute, yeah. Give us a second. Old School is going to get flung back. The turret does end up going down. Von C, however, is going to get taken really low. Flash X as well. Polite Company is going to be used. Beautiful coming through straight from Joseph. Does manage to land it straight onto Flash X. Does back away. My goodness, that could be a hard skill shot to land, but he doesn't make it work, and the infusion has been popped as well. They want to go for this one. Joseph's going to jump straight onto Best Chuck and A. This turret is not long for this world. This is what you were talking about, Scoundrel, and they do manage to get it. Nice Githy and more onto Joseph, just sweating him yet again. Von C, however, is going to have to afterburn away, and that will be Cloud9. Again,
whoa, Joseph, whoa!
Joseph, what are you doing? This is so aggressive from him. He does activate Termination Protocol, however, he himself even gets terminated, falls to pieces as well. But a turret down in the favor of Cloud9 there, but they do trade a kill and a turret as well. So, I mean, not worth.
I mean, the turret is absolutely fine. You take the turret, that's a great bit of global gold. I think they'll be fairly happy off the back of that. Also, it kind of keeps them level with TSM too. That was a situation where Joseph would probably said to his team, sorry guys, didn't mean to press that. just run away, and they did. I think obviously you saw Von C pick up an infusion as well, so it was a double infusion battle here between Von C's infusion and I Love Joseph's infusion. I've got to be honest though, Von C's gone for the Serpent Mask build here on the glaive, giving him a little bit of extra sustain compared to what we generally see, which is the Sorrow Blade. We've got to fight though.
Whoa. Force to Court does miss, and the goal did go over to TSM. Flash X is in the front line. However, you do got to watch out for Joseph. He's doing so much damage. Termination Protocol is going to go through. Prime Directive does not land. Afterburn away from Von C. A nice Gideon wall into two people, and that will be Joseph going down. TSM just following this fight up perfectly. I say that, and Gabe Vizzle almost takes out Best Chuck NA, but he is the last member alive for Cloud9. Gold miner, in fact, helps Best Chuck NA pick up the kill as well. Ace comes through. TSM playing on the forefront of this game, and they're doing a fantastic job just bullying Cloud9.
Oh, it was such a late fountain from Gabe Vizzle. Really, really late fountain. I think it was almost too late. I actually genuinely think C9 might have had stood a chance of actually winning that fight had Gabe Vizzle pressed that fountain maybe 5 to 10, well, not even 10 seconds, 5 seconds earlier. But you've got to give credit to especially Flash X there, repositioning everybody. Great bright bulwark coming up from Best Chuck and A, stopping Alpha from using her core charge, any of her gap closing abilities. I've got to say, loads of times I've seen teams TSM block the Prime Directive from I Love Joseph, stopping him getting towards that backline target. There is so many ways to stop I Love Joseph delivering the damage here, and it's really impressive to see TSM do that time and time again.
Yeah, and with that, it just kind of cuts their DPS in half. They just have to rely on Old School to kind of follow that one up and let well, at least get I Love Joseph to actually get into the middle of the fight. Does it like TSM just flaring up a little bit, just making sure Cloud9 can't do anything?
I do want to touch on this glaive build, however. It's the Serpent's Mask breaking point here. Now, there is the standard glaive build of the Sorrow Blade breaking point that gives you the most burst damage. It's generally what most people consider the best way to go about this. Why do you think he's going for Serpent Mask? Well, he's often, maybe he's wanting the sustain here, especially against something like a Vox who's got great kiting potential. A little bit of extra sustain could be the difference between life or death, and getting another afterburn cooldown off. He's going to go in though.
Oh yeah, afterburn indeed. Old School's going to have to use his little boots to get away from that one, just to make sure he doesn't get caught up. TSM just consistently on this aggression. Flash X is going to go in, not going to lock anybody up, but there we go. I take that back. 2 Githian walls into the wall. Prime Directive being used yet again, does miss. I Love Joseph, Termination Protocol, doesn't really hit anybody. Vonsi just tanking most of that damage. Old School in the back line, not being able to do anything these fights. Gets taken out by Best Chuck NA, proving he is the best Chuck. Gabe Bizzle is just going to follow the Lyra ult through, but he's going to follow it to his death, big scoundrel. Cloud9, yet again being aced.
Yeah, I mean, once you put that aggression down, it doesn't look like C9 have got any way to peel back. And that's what I said about this Alpha pick. It doesn't actually aid C9 in any way. And actually, Alpha finds it very difficult to get to Best Chuck NA because he's got to get through Githian Wool, he's got to get through the Afterburn Stun, he's got to get through Bright Bulwark. I actually think this was a pretty poor pick for the C9 composition. I would have much preferred something that would aid Finn in the peel, because realistically, the best chance that you have against this TSM composition is allow them to be aggressive, try and peel back from their aggression, and then allow your Vox to just build up those stacks, and then turn round when necessary, when he's got the amount of breaking point stacks. I also want to add about this glaive build, because I find it so interesting, Jaws. I know I'm still talking about it. You've got the Lyra as well. With the Serpent's Mask and the Imperial Sigil, how much sustain is Vonsi going to have in these fights? He is going to be a monster of sustain. And also the fact that both Alpha and Finn are easy targets for him. What he can do is he can afterburn, he can then reposition a target, he can sustain up through Lyra and sustain up through the Finn and Alpha being really easy targets for him to get the basic attacks down, and then survive long enough compared to when as if he had a Sorrow Blade to get another afterburn off and then try and reposition Old School after a reflex block, or if Old School oversteps. It's a really intelligent build.
It's ridiculous because he survived at least 2 ultimates coming out from I Love Joseph as well. That's something to think about. Best Chuck NA is going to have to be careful. Gabe Bizzle is trying to get on top of him, but Vonsi says not today. Yet again, Joseph just gets popped so early in this fight. Gabe Bizzle going low as well, not being able to really do anything. Does get a stun onto a couple of people, however, but the turret is being destroyed. The Kraken is just winning the game for TSM. They are just stalling this one out. Prime Directive not hitting. Joseph needs to be able to follow up with some of this damage. Nice getting him all by Flash X, and still the Kraken is melting their base. However, they do manage to take out Flash X in the end, but can they do much else? Best Chuck NA is going to take out I Love Joseph. I think this is going to be it. I think TSM are going to take this game off of Cloud9. Get over here, says Gabe Bizzle. Does manage to take out Best Chuck NA. Kraken only just managing to get that crystal to half HP before it gets taken out, but Cloud9, they just don't seem to be able to do anything in these fights.
Had both Vonsi and Best Chuck NA committed to that fight, I actually genuinely think they could have won there. But you're right, there is nothing that C9 can do, because again, I don't think Finn is enough peel by himself for this Vox, and therefore Vox is becoming a target. Joseph can't do he can't even build up his core overload stacks. So, you know, he's really struggling to even build up his core overload stacks to actually get damage done with the Prime Directive. And again, the only option he has to go in is very poor against things like Lyra and the peel from the Lance. Again, it's coming down to draft for me.
Oh man, I really like this Lyra in the lane. I'm not going to lie to you. It's working out so well. Obviously, Broken Myth has been picked up as well. And even Harvest, didn't even notice that. That's just the amount of damage Best Chuck NA is just putting out in the backline. Plus, obviously, the heals, the Blighted Bulwark as well, to just kind of disrupt I Love Joseph. I don't think I'm wrong at all. I wasn't ever going to disagree with you, my friend. But TSM's draft just looks so strong. What do you think Cloud9 are going to do against this in the next game? That's the question.
What do you think? I think they're going to switch up. If they want to go for the Vox, you have to play a composition around the Vox. I think they've gone for a composition expecting to be able to go all in and allow Vox to feel unchecked and build stacks. But the problem that I have with that specifically is that if you build a composition around Vox and then unfortunately just let Vox leave Vox to his own devices in the back line, he's not going to get the time to build up the stacks. And what this makes this Vox build so powerful, and what makes Vox so powerful in general, is the ability to kite build stacks and then turn around once you've already built 15 to 20 breaking point stacks and you're starting to absolutely rip through the enemy.
And it just doesn't look like he can actually get to that point. Kraken has been unleashed. He's going to be on the side of TSM, and he just seems to get blown up every time he steps a little bit forwards. I mean, Flash X just jumps straight on him. Obviously, Von C just afterburn and then just kind of knocks him away, stuns him up, and then I Love Joseph gets killed in the front line as well. It's just a tough situation for Cloud9. I want to see what they want to do now. TSM are looking for the flank here. Okay, Vizzle is going to use the boots to try and get a bit of vision. Has been spotted out, however. Light Company used on Best Chuck, and 2 on the Kraken, 1 on 2 of the members of TSM. Not the best lineup I can see. Von C is here as well. Okay, Vizzle just kind of caught out in this situation. I Love Joseph and Old School, they're going to have to do something. Prime Directive doesn't hit over the wall. Old School gets bashed in, and straight away afterburned as well. Flash X is coming through, and you can just see Best Chuck and A decides, not for me, not today. I'm just going to try and end the game. Hero is going to be fallen. At least Joseph's going to pick up a kill before the game ends. But that is going to be it, Scoundrel. TSM, they're going to take a game off Cloud9. And what a dominating series from them. Or game, at least, not series.
Absolutely.